Travel is often marketed the same way powerful global brands sell their dreams. You are never asked to fall in love with the product itself. Instead, you are encouraged to desire the feeling it promises. Just as Coca-Cola built an empire not by talking about sugar or carbonation, but by convincing you that every sip brings connection, joy, and harmony, the modern travel world sells you an idea of yourself in better places. It shows you turquoise waters glowing with unrealistic perfection, mountains where time appears frozen, sunsets that seem painted for your eyes alone. Tourism paints a version of the world in which life becomes simple, problems disappear, and happiness waits quietly on the next shore. Yet the truth is always more complex. Every destination that looks effortless has been shaped by centuries of culture, struggle, craftsmanship, and fragile ecosystems. Every landscape that appears infinite in beauty is finite in its capacity to handle millions of footsteps. Every peaceful village has a story of reinvention and survival behind its perfectly framed alleys. Travel is not only escape, it is also impact. It reshapes economies, cultures, wildlife, and the psychological identity of nations. This documentary invites you to explore that deeper reality. It is presented as 10 destinations for your 2026 journey, but beneath the surface it becomes an investigation into how we see the world and how the world changes when we look at it. These destinations are extraordinary in ways that photographs can never fully capture, not because they are flawless, but because they contain contradictions that make them real. Slovenia is compact, yet vast in atmosphere. Austria is peaceful, yet charged with adrenaline. Namibia is empty, yet overwhelming. Vietnam is chaotic, yet meditative. El Salvador is reinventing itself while carrying deep memories. Norway's Lofoten Islands are wild yet delicate. Greece is timeless, yet always threatened by its own popularity. Moorea embodies paradise, yet exposes ecological vulnerability. New Zealand feels ancient yet alive with rebirth. Australia contains landscapes so extreme, they challenge your understanding of what the Earth is capable of creating. Before the chapters begin, understand this central idea. When you travel in 2026, or in any year beyond it, you are not simply moving across a map. You are stepping into someone else's home, into the habitat of animals who existed long before your arrival, into geological structures shaped over millions of years, into cultural stories that deserve the same respect you expect for your own. Travel is not just consumption, it is participation, it is responsibility. And if you accept this responsibility, the reward is profound. You do not simply visit a place, you become transformed by it. Slovenia is the kind of country that seems almost impossible in its design, as if nature gathered all of Europe's landscapes and compressed them into one small, carefully curated territory. Within only an hour of leaving Ljubljana, the capital city, the roads unravel into completely different worlds. Drive north and the Alps rise like immense stone guardians. Drive south and the Adriatic opens into blue calm. It feels as though the country is whispering an invitation to explore, offering variety without demanding long distances. Lake Bled is the image most people know, the iconic scene of a glassy lake holding an island with a lone church rising above it. But the truth of Lake Bled cannot be captured in a single photograph. To reach the viewpoint above it is to understand why this landscape became a symbol. The climb is quiet, the air cool, the trees forming a cathedral overhead. When you finally arrive at the overlook, the lake stretches below with a softness that feels almost unreal. The bell tower, the circling water, the reflection of the mountains behind it all merge into a moment that demands silence. The beauty is not loud, it is patient. Further west, the Socha River carves through the valleys like a ribbon of turquoise light. It is water so clear that it seems sculpted, an impossible shade of blue that invites both awe and hesitation. Swimming in it is not just refreshing, it is humbling. The current gently carries you, the mountains surround you, and for a moment you feel suspended in a world untouched by urgency. The Socha is not just a river, it is a reminder that stillness is not the absence of movement, but the harmony of movement. Slovenia is also a country shaped beneath the surface. The Postojna cave reveals this hidden dimension. Entering by train, descending deeper and deeper underground, you feel as though you are being transported into the pages of myth. The air cools, the light fades, and suddenly you are inside a chamber carved by water over millions of years. The cave is vast. The formations rise like frozen storms. Every corridor is a reminder that nature is the world's oldest architect, working slowly and silently in the dark. But perhaps the soul of Slovenia is captured in its hilltop churches. Scattered across green slopes, each one stands as a quiet story of devotion. St. Thomas Church, resting on its perfect hill with the Alps behind it, feels like a living painting. When the early morning fog lifts and the church emerges from the mist, it becomes clear why Slovenia feels so profoundly peaceful. It is a country where landscapes carry emotion, where nature and culture blend without forcing each other aside. Namibia feels like stepping into the untouched memory of the planet. It is a country carved by wind and time, a place defined by silence so profound it feels almost sacred. The landscapes are vast enough to make you question your own scale. Here, the desert breathes with slow patience, stretching beyond the horizon in waves of sand that shift under the sun. This is not a destination you simply visit. It is a destination that absorbs you, dissolves your sense of urgency, and replaces it with awe. To reach the great dunes of Sossusvlei is to witness the artistry of nature. Big Daddy, one of the tallest dunes in the region, rises like a colossal sculpture. Climbing it is not a physical act alone, it is an emotional ascent. Each step sinks into soft orange sand. Each breath reminds you of the vastness around you. From the summit, the desert expands endlessly. The clay pan below, known as Dedvlei, appears like a painting of another reality. Its ancient tree skeletons stand frozen in time, preserved for centuries by the dryness of the air. Walking among them feels like exploring the remnants of a forgotten world. At Sandwich Harbour, the desert meets the Atlantic Ocean in a dramatic union. The sand dunes cascade directly into violent waves, creating a landscape that seems impossible. Driving through the deep sand along the coastline requires skill and trust. The adrenaline of the journey contrasts beautifully with the peaceful silence of the desert behind you. This meeting point between land and sea feels like the earth revealing one of its hidden masterpieces. But Namibia's soul reveals itself most profoundly through its wildlife. The desert elephants are living proof of nature's resilience. Their ability to survive in such harsh conditions is almost miraculous. Watching them move slowly across the sand, guided by ancient instincts, is an experience that stays with you long after you leave. They are gentle giants shaped by survival. In their presence, you realize how fragile and magnificent life can be when confronted with extreme landscapes. Namibia is more than scenery. It is a reminder that nature exists in forms far more powerful and delicate than we often imagine. Vietnam is a symphony of contrasts. Chaos and calm exist side by side, creating a dynamic rhythm that keeps the country pulsing with energy. The streets are alive with movement. Motorbikes weave through traffic like schools of fish navigating a fast river. Markets burst with scents of cooked herbs and fresh fruit. Mountains rise suddenly from flat rice fields as if lifted by invisible hands. Vietnam feels like a place in constant transformation, yet anchored firmly in deep tradition. In the north, the Ban Giok waterfall roars with unstoppable force. It cascades across multiple levels, framed by towering karst mountains that rise with cinematic precision. Mist rises from the impact of the water, creating a glowing veil that dances in the sunlight. Standing before the falls, you sense the raw power of the landscape and the ancient forces that shaped it. Halong Bay is another world altogether. Thousands of limestone islands stand like emerald pillars emerging from soft green water. Cruising through the bay during sunrise feels like drifting through a dream. Light gently paints the cliffs, birds glide between the formations, and silence becomes its own kind of music. It is a place that asks you to slow down, to breathe, to appreciate the simplicity of being present. In the countryside of Mok Chau, the tea fields stretch across hills in precise, graceful curves. The landscape looks curated, each plantation shaped with intention. Walking along the patterned rows feels like stepping inside an enormous green tapestry woven by human hands and natural slopes. The Harjiang Loop, a multi-day motorcycle journey, offers one of the most visually powerful experiences in Southeast Asia. The road winds through steep valleys, past deep canyons, and along mountain ridges that feel impossibly narrow. Every turn reveals a new angle of the raw terrain. The air is crisp, the views dramatic, and the sense of freedom absolute. Vietnam is not simply a place you see, it is a place that pulls you into its rhythm and leaves its imprint on you forever. El Salvador carries a story of rebirth. For many years, the country was defined by headlines that overshadowed its beauty. But today, a new chapter is unfolding, one powered by resilience, innovation, and a collective desire to rewrite the nation's identity. When you arrive, you immediately feel a sense of movement, as if the country is evolving in real time. The landscapes are dramatic, the people are warm, the atmosphere is lively in a way that feels deeply authentic. San Salvador offers history and modernity side by side. The streets hum with daily life. Markets fill the air with the sound of conversation and the aroma of traditional cuisine. The historic center holds stories of the past, preserved in architecture and community spaces. El Tunco, with its volcanic sand beaches and powerful waves, has become a magnet for surfers. The sunsets here stretch across the sky in warm tones that shift slowly until the sun dissolves into the horizon. The sound of the ocean and the silhouette of palm trees create a setting that feels timeless. The Santa Ana volcano offers a different kind of adventure. The hike is steady but rewarding. Reaching the summit reveals a turquoise crater lake glowing with surreal intensity. The wind sweeps across the peak, carrying the scent of volcanic rock and distant forests. At the base, Lago Coatepec spreads like a mirror, reflecting the surrounding hills. Jumping from a lakeside platform into the cool water is a moment that captures the joy of pure travel. El Salvador is not merely a destination, it is a country reclaiming its story, inviting the world to experience beauty that existed long before outsiders noticed it. Travel here is an act of discovery, not of what the place is becoming, but of what it has always been beneath the noise. The Lofoten archipelago rises from the Arctic waters like the sculpted bones of an ancient creature. The mountains are sharp and dramatic, their dark silhouettes cutting into the sky with striking confidence. The air feels clean enough to taste. The water reflects the world with mirror-like precision. Even though the islands lie far within the Arctic Circle, the atmosphere carries a surprising softness, as if the cold has agreed to be gentle in the presence of such beauty. The village of Henningsvær is one of the first places that reveals the charm of Lofoten. Built across small islands connected by bridges, it feels suspended between sea and sky. Boats move slowly through the harbour. Wooden houses painted in vivid colours line the waterfront. And tucked into this picturesque setting is the Henningsvær Stadium, a soccer field carved into the rock and surrounded by open ocean. It is a location that seems impossible, a perfect example of how human presence can exist in harmony with nature when we learn to adapt instead of conquer. Kvalvika Beach requires a hike to reach, and the journey itself prepares you for the view waiting at the end. You climb through valleys of moss and stone. You cross small streams that carry meltwater down the mountain. Then the trail opens suddenly, and the beach appears far below, a crescent of golden sand pressed between two towering cliffs. The ocean crashes against the shore with rhythmic force, its surface shifting between shades of turquoise and deep sapphire. Standing on the sand, surrounded by mountains rising like guardians, you feel both small and deeply connected to the world around you. Reinebringen is the mountain that has become the symbol of Lofoten, a peak shaped with perfect symmetry and blessed with a viewpoint that seems crafted for awe. The climb is steep and demanding. Stone steps guide you upward in a slow, deliberate ascent. Each turn offers wider glimpses of fjords curling through the islands. When you finally reach the top, the landscape unfolds in a way that steals breath and thought. Villages held by narrow strips of land, water stretching in endless shapes, peaks rising from the sea like the spines of a sleeping dragon. If you arrive during the season of the midnight sun, the sky burns with colors that shift endlessly, never settling into darkness. It is a light that refuses to die, a glow that makes time feel irrelevant. Lofoten is nature at its most expressive. It invites you to slow down, to listen, to witness a world shaped by the raw meeting of land, sea, and sky. It is a reminder that some places are not meant to be consumed quickly. They are meant to be absorbed with reverence. The Greek islands shimmer with a mythology of their own. People arrive expecting white houses perched above blue water, expecting sunsets that look painted, expecting flavors of food that carry stories of centuries, and Greece delivers all of that with grace. But beyond the images familiar to postcards and travel guides lies a deeper truth. The islands are alive with a rhythm shaped by wind, salt, stone, and human memory. Each island carries a personality that reveals itself slowly if you take the time to look. Santorini is often the first island that comes to mind. Its cliffside villages rise in soft curves and stark edges, the white walls reflecting sunlight with a brilliance that almost blinds. It is undeniably beautiful, yet the crowds make it feel like a stage where everyone plays the role of a dreamer searching for the perfect photograph. But beauty that can withstand the weight of millions of footsteps becomes a testament to endurance. Santorini still shines despite the world's constant hunger for it. Milos offers a calmer experience. The villages feel gentler, the landscapes feel wilder. Sarakiniko Beach almost seems extraterrestrial, with its smooth white rock carved by centuries of wind and waves. The cliffs resemble frozen waves, and the sea below turns clear enough to reveal its depths. The iconic jumping ledge attracts both the brave and the hesitant. When you leap into the water, you feel as though you are diving into a dream sculpted by nature. Sigrado and Kleftiko showcase a side of Milos that is both intimate and dramatic. Narrow passages, caves with collapsed ceilings, and secluded coves create an atmosphere of discovery. Approaching Kleftiko by boat feels like entering a stone labyrinth shaped by the ocean's persistent hand. The water is impossibly clear. Light bends into turquoise tones that seem unreal. Swimming here becomes a moment suspended outside of time. Zakynthos, however, carries a magic that is difficult to express. The island's cliffs rise with sheer vertical power, reaching heights that feel mythic. Shipwreck Beach is its most famous scene. The sand holds the remains of a ship chased into the cove decades ago, now transformed into an icon of Greek tourism. From the cliffs above, the water glows with a blue so intense it feels almost electric. Standing there, the world below appears fragile, poetic, and endlessly inviting. At sunset, Zakynthos offers one more spectacle at Mizithres. The twin rocks rise from the sea like ancient monuments. When the waves turn milky under the warm light, the entire coastline looks like a painting in motion. Greece is not simply beautiful, it is elemental beauty, shaped by time, myth, and the gentle persistence of the sea. Muria appears on the horizon like a dream half remembered. Its jagged mountains rise steeply from the ocean, silhouettes shaped like the spines of ancient creatures resting beneath the tropical sun. The air tastes sweeter here, scented with flowers carried by warm breezes. Birds glide through the sky with effortless grace. The island feels alive in a way that many places no longer do. It is not simply a destination. It is a world woven from color, silence, and water. Mount Muaputa, known as the Shark-Tooth Mountain, stands as the island's most recognizable figure. Its sharp peak rises high above the forests, commanding both respect and curiosity. Looking at it from below, you feel the pulse of ancient volcanic forces that shaped this land. The mountain appears as a monument to time, reminding you that paradise is often born from violent origins. The beaches of Murea stretch like invitations. Temai Beach, calm and open, offers some of the clearest water in the Pacific. Sailboats drift in the distance. Locals gather under palm trees. Families laugh as the waves roll softly across the shore. Watching the sun sink behind the mountains, you understand why travelers describe Muria as a sanctuary for the spirit. Boat tours reveal another chapter of the island's identity. Even on rainy days, the lagoon glows with translucent shades of blue and green. Swimming with black-tip sharks or drifting near stingrays becomes an experience that humbles you. The ocean does not rush, it allows you to participate in its rhythm. And if you visit from August to November, the giants of the sea appear. Humpback whales glide through the deep blue, massive yet gentle. Seeing one rise from the water feels like witnessing a secret written into the world since its creation. Muria is beauty, yes, but it is also vulnerability. Islands like this rely on harmony between nature and the human presence that grows each year. Paradise is fragile. It requires caretakers. To visit Muria responsibly is to acknowledge its existence as a gift that can vanish if not protected. New Zealand feels like the earth remembering its own origins. Every corner of the country carries a grandeur that borders on mythical. The North Island and South Island each tell different stories, yet together they create one of the most cinematic landscapes on the planet. Mountains rise with precision, lakes glow with glacial colors, forests whisper with ancient energy. The land feels alive, as if breathing beneath your feet. Cathedral Cove on the Coromandel Peninsula is one of the North Island's most iconic wonders. The archway carved into the cliff frames the beach beyond it with such perfect alignment that it feels intentional, almost crafted. Walking through it as the tide rolls in creates a moment that feels both majestic and intimate. The rocks, the waves, the light filtering through the opening all combine to create a sense of reverence. Further inland lies Hobbiton, a place where fiction and reality intertwine. The gentle hills, round doors, and small pathways transport visitors into a world born from imagination, yet grounded in nature. The charm of Hobbiton does not come from spectacle, but from detail. Every garden, window, and lantern feels placed with love. This careful design reminds travelers how storytelling can transform landscapes. The South Island offers raw power. Aoraki Mount Cook dominates its surroundings with an authority that humbles. Driving toward it reveals lakes that shimmer with glacier blue, a color so vivid it almost appears surreal. The Hooker Valley track leads across suspension bridges, past rushing rivers fed by ancient ice. When you reach the lake at the base of the mountain, the wind cuts through the valley with relentless force. Icebergs float silently. The world feels enormous and immediate. Milford Sound is the final movement of New Zealand's symphony. The fjord rises in towering walls, each one shaped by time and sculpted by storms. Clouds cling to the peaks. Waterfalls cascade with a sense of eternal motion. Taking a boat through the Sound feels like traveling through a living cathedral built by nature rather than by human hands. It is a reminder of the Earth's ability to inspire awe, not through perfection, but through raw, unfiltered magnitude. Australia is a continent that refuses to be simplified. It contains almost every landscape imaginable, beaches with sand as white as flour, oceans with coral kingdoms teeming with life, red deserts that stretch into infinity, forests humming with strange and ancient creatures. It is a place that reveals itself in layers, offering quiet moments of peace and sudden bursts of wild adventure. Western Australia holds some of the country's most pristine coastline. The beaches near Esperance feel untouched, as though they were protected by time itself. The water glows with a clarity that seems impossible. Kangaroos wander the sand with casual confidence, reminding you that here, wildlife is not separate from the scenery. It is part of the identity of the land. In the heart of the country lies Uluru, one of Earth's great natural monuments. The sandstone giant rises from the desert floor with a presence that cannot be described in simple terms. Standing before it, you feel the weight of its cultural significance. Its walls shift color as the sun moves across the sky, glowing red in the late afternoon. It is not just a rock, it is a chapter of history. It is a sacred memory in geological form. Tasmania offers a gentler, yet equally captivating experience. The cool climate, dense forests, and wide open spaces create an atmosphere of deep calm. Cradle Mountain is one of the island's crown jewels, and the wombats grazing nearby add charm to the already magical setting. Watching them move slowly through the grass reminds you that wonder can exist in the simplest moments. Then there is Lord Howe Island, perhaps the purest expression of paradise in the Pacific. With strict limits on tourism, the island feels preserved in both spirit and nature. The mountains rise dramatically above the lagoon. The beaches curve softly like strokes of white paint. The air feels untouched. To reach Ball's Pyramid, the tallest sea stack on the planet, is to witness a natural sculpture that seems impossibly large and isolated. The boat circles the formation as waves crash against its base. The sight of it stays with you long after the journey ends. Australia does not merely offer beauty, it offers perspective. It reminds travelers that the world is vast and varied, and that each landscape carries a story shaped by millions of years of creation.